Hello folks, and welcome back to another show. Today I want to make known that there is no surprise that I love Star Wars. Stephanie loves Star Wars. We both love Star Wars. If you've clicked on this video, hopefully you love Star Wars as well, or are just a fan of the show and are hoping for a good time, and I'm going to talk about some great things. Before we begin, if you don't mind just supporting the channel by subscribing, liking, sharing the video with a friend, that's a little way that makes the channel grow exponentially and keeps these videos coming your way. So let's begin. Star Wars hit me at the right age. I am now 28 years old. I was 9 years old when the prequels came out, when it was time for me to watch Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, in the theater. I was able to watch it in the theater with my uncle. My uncle and grandfather actually got me into this. Grandpa Manza and Uncle Michael Manza got me into Star Wars at a young age. I was about 6 years old, and this C-3PO behind me is one of the toys that I got for Christmas or for my birthday. One of the toys that they had given me, and they had kind of introduced me to these characters. We used to play war all the time, my uncle and I, and of course Star Wars became a tradition between us to always go to the theater and enjoy ourselves, talk about things, theorize what could happen to Anakin, what is happening to Anakin, how will he become Darth Vader, etc. John Williams is now a household name and one of our favorite composers, or the favorite composer in this house. His film scores are exceptional, from Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, all of Star Wars. He is a legend, that man, so he should be recognized for his achievements even greater than he already is. That man is a gift to pop culture, to film, to us. He is a big part of it for me, and I have all of the subsequent albums of his that he had put out with the London Symphony Orchestra and Lucasfilm. So today we're going to go over my entire collection of Star Wars vinyl albums. I figured we'd go in linear order with the vinyl that came out first. We'll begin with the 1977 20th Century Fox Star Wars pressing on 20th Century Records. I have definitely spoken about this pressing before in a past video and how much I love it. John Williams really went ahead and was creative, the most creative he's possibly ever been in creating some of these famous soundtracks in people's lives to date, people's wedding songs he has created on this album, and it is his crowning achievement, and it's all on this record. It features a beautiful gatefold and stills from the entire film, episode now 4, A New Hope. But this was in 1977, known as Star Wars, the first ever Star Wars film. George Lucas, Francis Ford Coppola, and Steven Spielberg all admired John and what he was doing at the time with the Jaws soundtrack, one of his first. Up next, I've got Return of the Jedi here, an original pressing from 1983, produced by Polygram Records. It's got that polygram, sort of that red bull with the horns on a silver disc there. Excellent stuff. With a beautiful, I love that all these Star Wars albums have gatefolds, and we've got a beautiful Star Destroyer there in space. It's certainly hard for me to put into words what we love about it. There is just so much philosophy, inspiration injected into this thing, from past stuff in Japanese lore, from samurai movies and westerns and sci-fi and all that kind of stuff, mixed into one. Old World War II battles and dogfights, and what beautiful ship design. The whole thing is a spectacle of character design in my mind, and it should not go unnoticed. Although this is not a product of the mid-century, Star Wars is transcendent through all generations because it's been passed down to each and every one of us through either our fathers, uncles, grandfathers. Usually a father figure passes it down to either a daughter or son. In our case, my grandfather and uncle and Stephanie's father had always loved it and put it on, loved Yoda, loved all that stuff. I feel bad that he missed all of the great Star Wars that had come out in the Mandalorian and the newer installments in the franchise. But I know that he is in a better place, a bigger place, and he still is seeing it through our eyes, our enjoyment and love for it. That out of the way, every one of these is great. They all have standout hits on them. Specifically the music with the Ewok village on the forest moon of Endor. We get some great music compositions from Williams here. Great album, great cover, great everything about it. Can't beat it. It's a grade A. Don't miss it. Pick it up if you see it. The reason I went right from Star Wars to Return of the Jedi, obviously, because I do not have The Empire Strikes Back on vinyl. I don't have that. And someday I'll be able to pick it up, hopefully in the wild, and not have to order it online. I always encourage you to seek an original pressing. Not only do they have more value, but it's just a time capsule into what was out at the time when the movie was popular. And just like the subsequent Target editions today that you'll see from the newer trilogy, they were on the shelves back then, and that is the version that you should strive to pick up if you are willing to pick any of these up and like Star Wars. Next up is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now, this is one of our favorites and so quotable and memorable in a lot of different ways. Beautiful gatefold on the planet Crate, and just gorgeous. Track listings on the back, and let's see the label now. Let's see the label. Pulling it out, we got on just beautiful, simple black Lucasfilm Disney Star Wars labels. Now, I did have Star Wars The Force Awakens on picture disc. I had a picture disc featuring Rey and Harrison Ford, Han, and it had all their faces super close up. I had that pressing, but gifted it to my brother-in-law, Paul, so he has that. I'm looking for The Force Awakens in this sort of format with the logo and the title in between the logo. I really like that. It's no surprise that Williams sort of copied himself and gained inspiration for these films, for the scores, through his own works, and only created a select few new pieces. For the sequel trilogy, he basically recycled beautiful sound scores for the previous films, from the previous films for these new movies. And that I don't have a problem with. It's kind of euphoric to hear. I love the theme he's made for Rey, and the theme he's made for Kylo Ren, as well as the Rebel theme. He came up with the necessary installments for the sequel trilogy while also peppering in previous hits from the Star Wars catalog. Lastly, as far as film scores go, we've got The Rise of Skywalker, just purchased a couple years ago now on an exclusive blue, nice beautiful blue pressing. Gorgeous looking blue, and of course I've saved the shrink from Target. This was a Target exclusive. Beautiful gatefold there with Kylo and Rey duking it out there on Exegol. I believe the planet's name was Exegol. This, of course, the last film installment on the big screen. We get a giant booklet featuring all sorts of beautiful stills and a little write-up by J.J. Abrams, as well as beautiful stills from the film. Track listings and a gorgeous picture of Daisy Ridley depicting Rey, and thank yous, credits, sort of that kind of stuff. And it's just a beautiful book. And look who ends the book. Is a beautiful picture of John Williams. That man is a legend. Star Wars now almost basically 42 years old now. That original Star Wars album. Quite an amazing achievement, a great feat that 42 years old this franchise is. It is still packing a punch with the youngsters, with the older crowd, middle-aged folk, older folk, and children. All are eating the Star Wars up still to this day, 40 years later. Stephanie and I are loving every minute of what we're seeing of The Mandalorian, and we just finished Star Wars marathon that we actually began on her birthday, December the 22nd, via the timeline. And that's just fun. It's a fun experience if you haven't done it. Just try to watch everything starting from episode 1 all the way up to the sequel trilogy. And everything in between is just so fun to watch how things link up, especially in the Rogue One section. Everything just links up pretty well, and it's awesome to look at that. Up next, it's a little 10-inch that I've got featuring Jabba Flow, made by Bad Robot, Hollywood Records, and Lucasfilm. Kind of cool cover there. It says Star Wars Headspace. When they walk into Maz Kanata's cantina, this plays in the background. J.J. Abrams did the voice, and it's altered, and it's a fun little track, something to collect if you guys are Star Wars collectors. This is a nice little collector's item. Probably hard to find now. Next, I've got the picture disc of the Mandalorian soundtrack, the first season. Now, this just features original music from Star Wars The Mandalorian, with music by Ludwig Göransson. Does an excellent rendition in not trying to copy Williams whatsoever. He doesn't copy John Williams. He does his own thing with Star Wars, and it hits. It's not a miss. It's a big hit with us. And we love the Mandalorian soundtrack, and it's one of Steph's favorites in the entire franchise. They did no wrong with this. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have knocked it out of the park. I hope they continue to do that. I mean, they could always miss, but even if they miss, I'm a very forgiving Star Wars fan, and if they do, I will find a way to admire it in a way I see fit. I just think what they've done in the world of The Mandalorian and syndicating it to Disney Plus television is the way to go. You get like an 8-hour movie out of these things. It's so good. You get so much development from the characters, from their backstories, from side missions to main story missions. Much more than you would have found in a 2-hour movie, to be honest with you. And then again, I love the movie experience. I absolutely love going to the theater with Stephanie. When the sequel trilogy was brand new, I would always take Stephanie on her birthday to the movies because her birthday is December 22nd. So we would go see Star Wars on her birthday. And that was just like a hit. Every single year we got 3 big, huge movies every year. And it became a point where we were like, yeah, it's another Star Wars birthday, another Star Wars year. And then it ended, and it's a little bit sad. We don't get a Star Wars birthday anymore for her. But, we still have fun either way. We watch it all the time. Again, we just even started a marathon. Next up, I was gifted this. This is performed by the Electric Moog Orchestra and arranged by Jimmy Weisner. Just if you like Moog synthesizers and can't get enough of that sound, this is perfect as it depicts all of your favorite themes via synthesizer. Second to last, we've got this little supplementary material of the story of Star Wars, sort of narrated. It's sort of like plays like a radio drama in which we hear all the narration of what's happening and sound effects and characters talking over music. And it's kind of cool, but it's full of words, full of if you're talking. It's like it's supposed to put you there as if you're watching the film, but you're not. You're just listening to the film, and it's got narration, and it's interesting. This is narrated by Roscoe Lee Brown, and he does a good job narrating the episode for A New Hope, the original Star Wars. And I believe this came out of its time. I believe this came out in the time period, 1977, 20th Century Fox. This came out probably in coinciding with the 77 soundtrack. This was just capitalizing on the success of the genre and the brand and the juggernaut that this became at the box office. So they put out another record, and I love it. Love the cover. C-3PO and R2-D2 are my 2 favorite characters. We follow them along in their journeys, and they are everywhere throughout in the background and seeing it all through a droid's eyes. There's not enough that can be said about the mastery of some of Lucas's ideas. The linear masking tape that binds all these things together, we see it all through the droids. And that alone is just an interesting idea, as well as the inspiration for the what we know as Star Wars and the character design. Everything from the way Darth Vader's helmet looks to the good and the evil and the battles, the duels that we see, the drama of it all. It's got so much going for it, and it's an easy thing to mess up because the fans are so dedicated to it and so invested that any little mess up, it's like Disney itself. It's like the parks. It's like as soon as they go and change something in the Disney parks, fans are either outraged or they like it. It's either or. It's either sadness or euphoria with it. They can change the taste of a Dole Whip and it's like outrage, a boycott, sign the petition, get this Dole Whip out of here, or, it's received positively, either or. You get the cutthroat fans in anything that's humongous, and Star Wars and Disney are like two of the biggest franchises in America, arguably in the world. Lastly, as I speak about the parks, we've got the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Symphony Suite, composed by John Williams, and it's absolutely amazing that John had composed this as well for the parks. What a great thing. Hype sticker says on a collectible picture disc. Now, I just opened this. Let's take a look at it. I got this for Christmas this year from Stuff. And beautiful picture disc there of the Black Spire Outpost, which we see at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Side B features the Millennium Falcon driving into the Black Spire Outpost. Beautiful. I can't wait to listen to this and find out what I hear. This was the concept art that I remember circulating around when we first heard about what Star Wars Galaxy's Edge may be like. And interesting, we see C-3PO and R2-D2 on the bottom, Princess Leia looking figure, some droids, all of which are not in the park. And this, my friends, unfortunately is going to spark a little bit of a rant, so I myself am guilty of a little bit of Star Wars critique, as much of a lenient fan as we both are. We both think that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge remains to still have a lot to be desired. From the budget cuts that are evident and the skimping, which is evident, Walt Disney World made this thing in a vacuum and didn't even think to themselves of the detail and the absolute detail that needs to be put into something that's this immersive. If you're going to go for the gusto, go for the gusto and go all out, or don't do it at all, because the Millennium Falcon looks amazing on the outside and the ride is disappointing on the inside. The line leading up to it, somewhat amazing, somewhat awesome, and then you get into the ride and it's nothing like the gunners. That they can easily recreate the gunners that are on either side, that switch from left to right when you're targeting the thing. When Luke sits in that and he's and Han sits in that, and Han famously says, "Don't get cocky." He's sitting in the cockpit of the gunner position on the Millennium Falcon, and we don't get that. Where's the Millennium Falcon gunners? In the same cockpit. That alone is a massive and major mess up for me. Just a little bit of a rant and my frustration on why Disney doesn't do it to the nines. If you're going to do it, you've got enough money, Disney. Put in the effort. Make the land bigger. It is so tiny. It's a circle. It's two little circles. And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to me and how I feel about some of the choices that Disney has recently started to make when it comes to creating new things for fans to enjoy, for families and the like to dive into. It's not what it used to be. Whatever happened to innovation and original products? whatever happened to originality in designs of the future and thoughts of dark rides that didn't have any IP attached? I get the IP needs to be there, and you can have the IP, but it's all IP as of now. The Disney parks, in my mind, have become somewhat of a homogenized, faceless entity of something that just doesn't care about its cast members, it doesn't care about its fans, and it just wants people to continually go there every summer and every time of year. They want people to go there and want people to enjoy every bit of it. But we can't enjoy every bit of it if you didn't go above and beyond to make it so, and go and break new ground, to innovate. You have to. The visionary that Walt Disney was is gone. It's not there anymore. The attractions are nothing, are a shadow of themselves as they were in the golden age in the 50s and 60s. I just can't wait to get to Disneyland and be able to savor all that, because Disney World as it stands is just a shadow of the imagination and visionary that Walt had in his mind and heart, and knew what the people wanted. It's a shadow of itself, and it's sad to see, but we move on, we press on, and we still love Disney. We won't stop loving Disney. I'm sure none of us fans will. Heart of hearts, we will not stop loving it. That being said, you need to step it up, Disney, especially when it comes to Star Wars. Just a simple thing, a simple fun little gunning mechanism to sit in would have sufficed and made us happy, or made me happy, to make me see that you're not skipping and you're not cutting corners where it's most needed in the most basic of things. Alright, rant over. That's it for that. It's been a while since I've been able to publish a Manza Media and Mickey episode, but here it is, and I'm talking Star Wars today. This is the Star Wars episode of Manza Media. I love every aspect of it. I think the fact that George Lucas has stood on set of The Mandalorian is something precious before the man, sadly passes at some point. It will happen, but hopefully he just becomes a Force ghost. I hope you like this video. I hope if Star Wars isn't your thing, by all means you can go ahead and see all the other additional content on this channel. I will talk about everything that I love, and obviously by the title of this video, I like a lot of stuff. I like a lot of different stuff, a lot of different genres and things that inspire me to create. I'll catch you next time on another episode, and until then, you could find me lounging to a melody. Have a great day, folks, and may the Force be with you. Always. Thanks again, folks, for checking out this episode. If you do feel so inclined as to follow me on social media, you may gladly do so at Manza Media Art and Manza Media on every other platform. If you like prints, I've got an Etsy shop where you can pick up some of my original artwork and fan artwork. I'll catch you folks on the next episode of Manza Media.